So they would naturally gravitate towards finding fairways. So Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill has been doing this the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They grow the rough. And Molinari won. You look at Tyrrell Hatton won. Very straight drivers of golf. Imagine if there were, it doesn't have to be a steady diet of that, but if there were 12 golf courses like that on the tour.
As we get, we so appreciate your time. As we kind of wind down here, I kind of wanted to get your take on, because I've heard you, I know the R&As, we're talking about distance, the golf ball, and how far it's going. And I read an article on you, and you talking about maybe possibly slowing down the fairways, growing the rough versus changing the ball itself. Get your take on all this that's going on in terms.
Yeah, I just think it's I think an easier way to get to that issue. The USGA can roll the ball back, or they can make modifications in the COR drivers and get there. But that's hugely costly, and then it brings up the question of bifurcation, because are you going to tell the amateurs they're going to start hitting it shorter? Because really they have a lot of fun with the new equipment. They really do. I watch them and I play with them. They have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that you want to bifurcate the game. You want to hurt the amateurs. You want to change the nature of the way professional golf is, because right now it is as popular as it's ever been, and it's still about who hits the longest, the straightest, who has the best strategy, who has the best nerves, and who has the best touch around and on the greens. The nature of the game has not changed. It's just that it upsets traditionalists when they're hitting short irons to par five. So
yeah,
I think a more organic way to do it is because agronomy has changed such that, when you and I played, the fairways were this long.
Yeah.
Okay, now they're this long. And the agronomy's gotten so much better that the fairways are faster. And because of the way players play the game, and because they went through 30 years of the two best players being two of the most inaccurate drivers to ever play the game at a high level, and people who set up golf courses set them up so that they could miss fairways and be around on the weekends. And I understand that if I was running a tournament, Tiger and Phil were playing in it, I'd cut the rough too, because I want them to be around on Saturday, Sunday, and I want them to come back next year.
Yeah.
And but now we have better drivers of the golf ball. So there's a mathematical formula there. Like right now, if you miss a fairway, everything included, out of bounds, water, you put all that in there, it costs you a third of a shot. But if it cost you a half of a shot or 6/10 of a shot, players would gravitate towards spinnier golf balls because they would want to find more fairways. And they would gravitate towards drivers that had less moment of inertia because they'd want to be able to curve the ball. So they would naturally gravitate towards finding fairways. So Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill has been doing this the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They grow the rough. And Molinari won. You look at Tyrrell Hatton won. Very straight drivers of golf. Imagine if there were, it doesn't have to be a steady diet of that, but if there were 12 golf courses like that on the tour, where they set them up that way, if you want to win those events, and you're Dustin Johnson or Rory or Brooks Koepka, you're going to gravitate towards spinnier golf balls, and so I think that would be a more organic way to fix that problem. At least then, if they don't fix that problem, if they don't address that problem of finding more fairways, then shorter hitters would come to the front. Control players would come to the front. So yeah, slowing the fairways down would certainly help. Having a very philosophical, a good idea of where you want the penalty to come into play if you miss a fairway, that would help. I mean, is power disproportionately rewarded in the game of golf? I don't think so. I've done a lot of deep diving on this. I don't think so at all. It's just how you measure accuracy. We're still measuring accuracy in a very archaic way. We're talking about fairways hit, and fairways hit it's such an antiquated way of measuring accuracy. It's like, and the fairways are not any wider than they used to be. If anything, they're narrower. Yeah. So if you have a 30-yard fairway and somebody hits it 250 and they're 3 degrees off or 4 degrees off, they're going to be in the fairway. But if they hit it 330 at 3 degrees off or 4 degrees off, they're not going to be in the fairway. Right now, who hit the better shot? The 330-yard shot at 3 degrees off, or the 260-yard shot at 3 degrees off? By far, the 330-yard guy that's 3 degrees off hit the better shot. And not only is he 80 yards in front, he had the same dispersion that you had in terms of degrees off center. It may be wider at the cone, at the tip of the cone, but it's the same dispersion. And so when you start to do that, you can't believe how straight these long hitters hit it now.